what we are going to learn as part of this program. Okay, what kind of benefits you are going to get as part of this training program. Okay, all these things we are going to get now. Understood? As part of our today's session, we will be the walking through what we are going to learn as part of this as part of this training program, and also what going to be the course details, and what are the highlights of the course, and all these things I'm going to talk here. Okay, yeah. So see here. So the first I'm going to talk about introduction to Spring and the Spring architecture and the modules and the course roadmap and prerequisite about the training program and highlights of the course. And I will be going through the frequently asked questions about the training program. And finally, we will be having with the QA session. Okay, this is what our today's agenda. Okay, so first, see, in order to start with our Spring Boot and microservices journey, so first of all, you need to be the strong, and you need to have some basic idea about so what is the Spring framework basically. Okay, so before starting with the Spring Boot and microservices, you need to be the very strong on what the basic idea about the Spring framework. What is a Spring framework and what are the different modules of the Spring framework, the importance of the each and every module of the Spring framework. Okay, and the architecture of the Spring framework. If you are aware of all these things, then that would be easy to work with Spring Boot and microservices. Understood, everybody? Yes. So let's get started for the today's discussion with the introduction about the Spring. So Spring. Yeah. So first of all, what is a Spring? What is a Spring framework? Okay. So first of all, it is a Spring framework is the Java-based open source framework. It is in a Java-based open source framework, guys. Open source framework means everyone can download this software and everyone can utilize this the software with the free of cost. So that is the first point about the Spring framework. It's a Java-based open source framework. Okay, and the next point is, by using the Spring framework, we can develop the enterprise applications. We can develop the enterprise applications. So enterprise applications means that may be on the standalone applications or web applications or distributed applications. So by using like as in the Spring framework, so easily we can develop the standalone applications and web applications and distributed applications. So as you are already familiar about these three kinds of an applications, standalone application means the application which always been running on your local machine. Such a kind of an application, we can call it as a standalone application. When it comes for the web application, so the application which can be the hosted on the remote machine and can be an accessible through internet, such a kind of an application, we can call it as an web application. So the example for the web application is, example for the standalone application is Acrobat Reader, MS Office in your machine, okay, WinZip software, 7-Zip, and all these are standalone softwares, okay, standalone applications. Okay, so when it comes for the web applications, so Ashok IT portal, Facebook.com, okay, LinkedIn, okay, Flipkart.com, Amazon, and all these are nothing but the web applications, guys. Web application means the application which can be hosted on the remote machine, can be accessed through a network. Okay, it can be accessed through a network or internet. Such a kind of an application, we can call it as a web application. Understood? And so we do have another kind of an application in Java to develop here. That is the distributed application. That is the most important here. So nowadays, the most of the applications and the most of the businesses, we are going to develop this kind of an application only. That is called a distributed application. So for example, distributed application means that is nothing but an application to application communication. So when so application to application communication. For example, generally the people are already habituated so utilizing the flipkart.com and amazon.com. So when you guys are purchasing some products in the websites, in their websites, tell me you are going to make some payments using some the payment options or not. Either it might be on the net banking or credit card or debit card or UPA. Okay, automatically the Flipkart is navigating to another Flipkart is communicating with another application called payment services application, right or not? That may be on the Visa or that may be on Razor Pay, or that may be on PayU Money or Paytm. Okay, any kind of the payment services. Okay, so any kind of the payment services to complete the payment. So that respect to the Flipkart application or Amazon application will start communicating with another application called payment services. We do have a lot of payment services are available in the market. Okay, so we can utilize any kind of the payment services to process our payments about of our application. Okay, such a kind of an applications we can call it as in such a kind of communication we can call it as an distributed applications case. Nowadays it is the most trending application in the market called distributed applications. Okay, so distributed applications means application to application communication. Web application means client server architectural model, that is browser to server communication. Okay, web application means browser to server communication, and distributed application means application to application, guys. Application to application, that is called a distributed application. Web application means client to server communication, which is nothing but on the browser to server communication, guys. Okay, so in order to develop the distributed applications nowadays in the market, so as you're already familiar about this term called RESTful web services. RESTful web services. By using the RESTful web services concept only, we can achieve the application to application communication, guys. Application to application communication. This is all about the enterprise application development, guys. By using the Spring framework, we can develop any kind of an application very easily. That may be on the standalone application or web application or distributed application. Okay, yeah, that is the second point here. Okay, and so the Spring framework is an modularized framework. Why you can say the Spring is an the modularized framework, sir? So everything in the Spring is having some independent module. Okay, every Spring, every library in the Spring framework is an what? Independent module. Okay, independent module, guys. It doesn't depends upon, it doesn't depend upon, or it doesn't rely upon what other modules from one module. Okay, that's why always the Spring is going to be an what? The modularized framework, guys. The people you are already aware of it. The Spring core is on the one module. Spring okay, Spring MVC is another module. Spring DAO is another module. Okay, Spring AOP is nothing but an what? Another module. So all these are nothing but an independent modules. So one module cannot depend upon the other modules. That's why the Spring is an what? The modularized framework. Understand? So, and the next point is the Spring is going to be having the simplicity of POJOs. Okay, in order to get the loose coupling between the Java objects, okay, always you need to develop a Java classes with the help of POJOs only. What do you mean by POJO, sir? The POJO means the plain old Java object. POJO stands for what? The plain old Java object. So it's nothing but a simple Java class, which is not at all extending any framework specific interfaces or framework provided classes. Okay, always when you guys are developing the POJOs when you guys are developing the classes in the Spring, mostly it's going to be in POJOs, guys. So you no need to extend any third party, you need to extend any framework specific classes, and you no need to extend any the framework specific interfaces. Okay, so most of the classes which we are going to develop in the Spring as an what? Simple POJOs. Simple POJOs. Understood, everybody? Simplicity of POJOs case, that is called. Okay, so and the next one is Spring is going to be having the support of what? Dependency injection and the inversion of control. Okay, what do you mean by dependency injection? Typically, in a application development, you guys are developing a lot of classes. You guys are developing a lot of classes, and one class object will requires what as and what another class to utilize those services. So, for example, I have a class A and I have a class B and I have a class C. So, class C object requires what class B, and class B object requires what class A. So, in this the scenario, what you are going to do typically, you are going to create an object of C class inside the B class, and B class inside, and a B class object will be creating inside the A class. So tell me, in this the normal behavior of the core Java applications, who will be the taking care of creating an objects of A class and B class and C class? Programmer. So programmer need to create an object of A class and B class and the C class, guys. Okay. Yes, in this case, the programmer need to create an objects explicitly. But when you are working with the Spring, you no need to worry. You no need to worry of creating an objects of this certain classes. Spring will automatically take care of it. So you just need to give as an what? Spring beans. You just provide this class A and class B and class C as an what? Spring beans, guys. So that Spring framework will take care of creating the objects for this certain classes. And Spring framework only will inject the B class object into A class, and C class object will be injected into B class. Understood, everybody? So that is called dependency injection, guys. Behalf of the programmer, Spring will take care of creating an objects. Spring will take care of creating an objects of this the certain classes, and Spring only will take care of injecting the one class object into another class at runtime. That is called dependency injection. Injecting the dependent object into the main object at runtime by the Spring container is called dependency injection. Okay. So if all these things managed by, if all this managed by the some third party component instead of the programmer, so that all these things managed by whom? IOC container. IOC container. Understood, everybody? Understood, everybody? IOC container, guys. IOC container. So dependency injection means it's a process of injecting the dependent object into the main object. Okay. So main object at runtime by the container is called what? Dependency injection. So, and if all these things managed by whom? All these things will be managed by whom? The third party component, that is called Spring container. That is called Spring container. Biggest market. Okay, that is called Spring container, guys. Understood? Okay, yeah. And Spring is going to be in the lightweight framework. Why the Spring is going to be in the lightweight framework, sir? Why the Spring is going to be in the lightweight framework? So because it contains what? Lightweight containers. It contains what? Lightweight containers. Lightweight container means what? Container means what? As I told you, behalf of the programmer in the Spring framework, the entire objects of the Spring, entire objects of our Spring beans will be created by Spring container only. Behalf of the programmer, guys, all the things will be taken care by Spring framework, such as creating an objects and injecting the object of one class into other class. All these things will be taken care by Spring framework only, guys, through the dependency injection process. And that dependency injection process will be maintained by IOC container. IOC container, that is called inversion of control because of lightweight. So Spring is going to be in the lightweight case. Why? Because of it contains lightweight containers, guys. So wherever you want, you can instantiate. Understand? Wherever you want the container object, you can simply activate it by creating an object of certain classes from Spring library. So when you guys working with the servlet technology and JSP technology, do we have a control to instantiate the servlet container and JSP container? Not at all. So those containers are coming along with the Tomcat, right or not? So those are heavyweight containers. Those are heavyweight containers. You do not have any control over on it. Understand? But here in the Spring framework, So we will be having a control over on the containers, guys. Wherever you want the instantiate, wherever you want instantiate the Spring container, simple, you can instantiate by creating an object of certain classes. Understand? So Spring has provided with what? Two lightweight containers. Okay. Application bean factory container and application context container. Nowadays, the bean factory container is completely outdated. So mostly we are going to work with what? Application context container, guys. Understand? So these are some of the highlights of the Spring framework. These are some of the highlights and the importance of the Spring framework, guys. Okay. So in the next slide, we are going to understand with what architecture here. So this is what the typically architecture of the Spring framework, guys. This is nothing but the typical architecture of the Spring framework. Okay. See, guys, these are the several modules, how the Spring got organized as and what? Independent. Okay. So we do have with what core module here, and we have with what AOP, and we have with what web, and we have the DAO section here. We have the DAO section. So if you observe carefully on this in the architecture, so core container is a base module for rest of other modules. Spring core container is a base module for rest of other modules. If you learn the Spring core, if you have the knowledge on the Spring core and working with the rest of other modules in the Spring will becomes easy for you guys. Okay. So if you understand the Spring core module, guys, so working with the rest of other modules in the Spring framework will becomes easy for you. Along with that, so to develop along with that and developing the Spring Boot application also becomes very easy for you guys. If you are the strong on Spring core module, okay, so working with the Spring is an easy for us, and working with the Spring Boot is also easy for us. Okay. So as per the architecture, so we are going to highlight with some of the important modules here, that is Spring Core, Spring Web, and then Spring DAO, and then Spring AOP. So as I already told you, the Spring Core is what? It's a base module. It's a base module or fundamental module of the Spring framework, guys. Once you learn this, the Spring framework, you can easily learn rest of other modules in the Spring framework, and you can easily work with what? Spring Boot as well. That is the reason we are going to start with what? Spring Core only, not Spring Boot straight away. Some of the people will have the knowledge on the Spring framework. That will be an advantage for you. And some of them are not having the knowledge on the Spring framework. So that is by keeping all the points in our mind. So we'll start with what? Spring Core module. Understood, everybody? So please utilize the chat box for the communication. Yes. Yes. Fine. So coming back to our discussion, Spring Core is a base module for all other modules in the Spring framework. Without learning the Spring Core module, you cannot easily understand the rest of other modules in the Spring framework and Spring Boot as well. Understand? If you are strong and if you are good and if you are strong on the Spring Core basics, then working with a Spring framework, in a Spring library will easy for us. So that is why the Spring Core is a base module of rest of other modules. Okay. Yes, that is what we are going to do. As part of the Spring Core module, we are always focusing on developing of understanding the concepts of Spring framework as a standalone applications. We are understanding the concepts of the concepts of the Spring framework with the help of standalone applications, guys. Okay, mean that we are going to develop a standalone applications using the Spring Core module only. Right? Yes. So when it comes for the Spring Web means what? We can develop the web applications by using in order to develop the web applications in the Spring framework, they given a separate module called web module. So by using this web module, guys, we can develop the web applications using servlet based and portlet based, guys. Okay, servlet based web applications and portlet based web applications. So mostly in our projects, mostly 100 out of 100%, mostly we are going to see 97 to 98% will be what? Servlet based web applications only. Okay, at the 2% we will be the having with the portlet based web applications, guys, which is nothing but an life ray. Okay, so which is nothing but an what? Life ray. Understood, everybody? That is called portlet based web applications, guys. That is a portlet web application. Understood? So in order to develop the web applications in the Spring framework, which module will be sufficient for us? Spring Web or Spring Core? Spring Web or Spring Core? Spring Web. Spring Web. By using the Spring Web, so easily we can develop with what? Web applications in the Spring framework, guys. Okay? Yes. And so typically for every kind of an application requirement, we need to save some data into the database and we need to retrieve the data from the database. So in order to perform such a kind of the database operations from the Spring framework, so they given a separate module called DAO module. They given a module called what? DAO module. Again, this DAO module will be the having with what? Two things. So you can persist some data or you can save some data into the database using Spring JDBC module, and that is this Spring JDBC module, guys. So that Spring JDBC module is an advanced module than JDBC. As you are already learned the JDBC concepts in advanced Java. So some of the disadvantages are there in the JDBC in advanced Java, guys. To overcome that the problems, the Spring has provided some abstraction on top of it. So they introduced the module called Spring JDBC module. Okay, by using the Spring JDBC module, we can persist some data into the database, guys, through Spring application, or you can retrieve some data from the database as well from Spring application. Okay, so as you already know that one, so nowadays most of the people are not at all using the JDBC level concepts, guys, for the project development. In the most of the projects we will be having with what? ORM frameworks, object relational mapping. How you can map with the Java object with the database tables, that you can do with the help of ORM. So that is another way of developing the persistent, or another way of developing the database logics with the help of ORM, guys. Object relational mapping. ORM stands for object relational mapping. How we are going to map your Java object with how we are going to map with the Java object with the database table. So in the Spring DAO module, that's why we have a concept called JDBC as the independent module, guys. And then ORM is nothing but an what? ORM is nothing but an ORM means object relational mapping. Object relational mapping. And OXM means object XML mapping. And JMS means Java messaging services, or we can say Jakarta messaging services. Transactions over on it. So you can perform what? The transactions on top of it, guys. Understand? So that is what the importance of data access module or Spring DAO module, guys. Okay, Spring DAO module of and the two flavors. Okay, one is the Spring JDBC, another one is what? Spring ORM. Sir, just keep the point in your mind. We are talking with Spring only. We are not into what is Spring Boot. We are not into what? Spring Boot. We are talking about Spring. Before getting into the Spring Boot, you need to be the strong on Spring. Then otherwise, the most of the, you will be getting a lot of questions when we are talking about Spring Boot. Okay, to avoid such a kind of the problems, we will be having some particular roadmap to understand the concept very easily. That's why we started with the Spring here. Understood? That is a point. Okay, so coming to the next last module, that is called Spring AOP. So Spring AOP. AOP stands for what? Aspect oriented programming. Aspect oriented programming. You know that one, Java is an object oriented programming, right? So what do you mean by aspect oriented programming? Is it a new style of programming, sir? No. It is not at all the new programming language, guys. Java is an the object-oriented programming language, everything in the form of what? Objects and classes. So, and Spring is also came up with what? One concept called aspect-oriented programming language. Aspect-oriented programming. Okay. By using that aspect-oriented programming, we can apply some secondary services or middleware services to a Java method at runtime. So we can apply what? Some middleware services or some middleware services to a Java method at runtime. What is the Java method? You are already know that one. If you consider a bank class, which contains what? Withdraw method and deposit method. Which contains what? Withdraw method and deposit method, guys. Okay. So in the withdraw method and the deposit method, while executing these methods, I wanted to apply some sort of middleware services such as logging service, security service. Okay, such as what? Logging service, security service, authentication service, authorization service. Such a kind of the services I wanted to execute while executing the business methods. Understand, guys? So this is a new approach. This is the new style of applying the middleware services to the business methods at runtime by the Spring container. See, every business method doesn't require the services, guys. See, some of the business services requires what? Middleware services. Middleware services means logging service. So whenever you are doing the transaction, so the bank people know such a kind of information. Such kind of an information will be the printing on the logs. Okay. And where you have withdraw the money, how much amount you withdraw, what is the service, what is an ATM mission ID. Okay. All such things they will get to know whenever you are withdrawing an amount. So means proper loggings will be there. Okay. So whenever you are withdrawing an amount, we will be applying some sort of security concerns. So you just need to even authenticate with your identities, and you just need to have an access for that particular resource. All these things we are going to check it here through AOP. Okay. So whenever you are getting some sort of an exceptions while at the time of withdrawing an amount, for example, you just inserted the card into the machine and you are just withdrawing an amount of some X rupees. During of your transaction, something may happen. So that might be on the network down, or that might be on the ATM goes down. Okay, that might be happen anything. So in order to handle such a kind of situations as well, so the Spring has come up with what? Spring has came up with what, guys? AOP concept to apply some middleware services. Whenever the exception is got happened, I would like to execute some sort of the middleware service that I can do with the help of AOP. Understand? That we can do with the help of what? AOP. These are the various important modules of Spring framework. Everybody is that clear? Can you guys respond over the chat? So whether you will be getting any importance of all these modules. Now you got the importance of all these modules or not? Spring Core. Spring Core is a base module for every other modules in Spring framework. Okay. Yes. And coming to Spring Web. Spring Web is another module of Spring framework, which helps us to develop the applications, which helps us to develop with what? Guys? Web applications in the Spring. In order to develop the web applications in Spring, we have two ways, guys. One is what? Servlet based web applications. Another one is what? Portlet based web applications. So mostly out of 100%, 98% we will be working with what? Servlet based web applications only, guys. And rest of the 2% will be of what? The portlet based applications. That is called Liferay. So we do have something. Okay, Liferay. That is a portlet based web applications, guys. And coming to the DAO. So whenever you guys wanted to interact with the database from the Spring application to save some data or to retrieve the data, so definitely you guys need to go for what? Spring DAO. So by using the DAO, so we can happily, so we can save some data into the database, and we can retrieve the data from the database as well. Understood, everybody? Yes. Okay. So, and the last module is AOP module. AOP stands for aspect oriented programming. So this is the new style of a Spring provided, guys, to apply the middleware services to a Java methods, guys. Understand? Sir, we can apply the middleware services by using object oriented programming as well. But so through the object oriented programming, we have some sort of problems. To overcome that problems, the Spring came up with the new style of an approach to apply the middleware services of the business methods. That is called aspect oriented programming. Hope you guys are in line with me, everybody. Yes, good. Good. So this is the simple and the brief about the Spring framework related information. Okay, so going forward sessions, we will understand more clear and detailed explanation on these things, guys. Okay, don't worry about this one. Okay, just wanted to highlight. So what is the Spring framework and what are the different modules of the Spring framework? What are the importance of all these modules? That is what the intention of this, the things here. Okay, yes. So now coming to understand with what outline of the course. So what we are going to be the cover as part of this training program. What we are going to be the cover as part of this the training program. That is what I'm going to be the cover with outline. Okay. Yes. So the Spring Boot and that, as you know, that one, the title of the course is Spring Boot and the microservices. And so the part one, so we have been divided into multiple parts. Okay. So the first part will be Spring Core part. The first part will be Spring Core part, guys. So Spring Core, you will be the learning about the basics of Spring framework as what Spring Core module. That is what the first part, guys. That is the part one. So part one, you will be the learning with what? Spring basics. So first we will start with what? Spring basics only. Okay. Within the 1 week of sessions, you will be the learning with what? Some important concepts of a Spring Core module. Okay. Once you are getting to once you are strong on that the Spring Core area, then we will introduce with what? Spring Boot. Then we will introduce with what? Spring Boot. Sir, if you know the details of the Spring Core only, then only you will enjoy the Spring Boot. Understood? If you know about the working with the Spring framework, then only you will enjoy an importance of Spring Boot, guys. Okay, lot of things you can observe it. Lot of configurations are required to develop the Spring application. But when it comes for Spring Boot, you no need to worry. All the things are getting as an ready-made. That's all. Ready-made, guys. So all the things will come as an what? Ready-made in the Spring Boot. Okay. First we will understand how much of configuration is required to develop the Spring application in the part one. And then we will talk about in the part two, how can we simplify that configurations in the Spring Boot level. Okay, that is what you will be the covering as and we will be the getting as an Spring Boot in the part two. Understood? Yeah. So, and we'll be the covering with the Spring Data JPA. Okay. After that, after understanding the basic concepts of Spring Boot, we will be the starting with what? Spring Data JPA as a part 3. Okay. So how to save the data into the database using ORM frameworks. Okay. And what is an advantage of using Spring Data JPA? What is an advantage of using the Spring Data JPA? What are the different kinds of repositories are there in the Spring Data JPA? How can you perform the sorting? How can you perform the pagination? Okay. How can you execute the stored procedures and stored functions from Spring Data JPA? Okay. And what are the associations are there in the Spring Data JPA? Oh, see, associations, working with associations such as one to many, many to many, many to one, one to one. All these things which you are going to be the learn as part of the Spring Data JPA case. Understood? Then after you are so at this point of time, I will be already aware of Spring Boot concepts, and you are already aware of what Spring Boot JDBC module, and you will be the getting as an what? So Spring Boot ORM as well. Spring Data JPA as well. Sorry, not ORM. Spring Data JPA. Understood? Yes. So at this point of time, you will be the strong on Spring Boot concepts and then Spring Data JPA concepts. How to store the data into the DB, how to retrieve the data from the DB, how to execute the stored procedures, how to execute the stored functions. All these things you will be getting to learn as part of the Spring Data JPA, guys. Okay. Yes. And then after learning, after completion of the Spring Data JPA, we will be the starting off and the web application development using Spring Boot. Spring Boot, guys. Sir, Spring Web is different. Spring Boot Web is different. Understand? Spring Boot Web is different and Spring Web is different. Spring Web is for what? From the Spring framework. Spring Boot Web is for what? It's the module from the Spring Boot framework. Understand? So, and that is what we are going to be the focus here. Okay, as part of the Spring Boot Web MVC, we will be the focusing on what? How to develop the web applications using Spring Boot. How to develop the web applications using Spring Boot. How to develop the, how to work with what HTML tags of designing the view pages, and how we are going to work with what Spring provided tags to develop the view pages. How can you do the validations? Okay, validations from the server side. How to support for the file uploading and downloadings. Okay, form submissions and all such things we are going to learn as part of the Spring Boot Web MVC. Generating the reports using PDF and Excels and all these things which I'm going to be the talk here as a part 4. Clear, everybody? Clear? Yes. So after completion of this, the Spring Boot Web MVC, so we will be the starting with what? We will be the starting with Spring REST. How to develop the RESTful web services. How to develop like as in the RESTful web services. That is what will be the part 5. Okay. So developing the RESTful web services, guys, nothing but an application to application communication. Application to application level communication, guys. That is that we can achieve with the help of RESTful web services, guys. And Spring has provided their own module called Spring REST to develop the RESTful APIs, RESTful web service APIs. Understood? And so after completion of the Spring Boot, after completion of Spring Boot web module, you will be there learning with what? Spring REST module, guys. And then we'll talk about microservices. After you are strong, so once you are strong on the REST API development, guys, we will be the talking on, we will be the moving on to what? Microservices architecture development. Okay. So microservices development, guys. Okay. So how can you, what is the monolithic application? What are the drawbacks of monolithic application? Okay. And what is an advantage? What is a microservices architecture? What is an advantage of using the microservices architecture in application development? Okay. What are the principles we need to be the consider when you are converting a monolithic application to microservices based application? Okay. All these things which we are going to talk about the microservices in detail. How we are going to communicate from one microservice to another microservices using REST templates, web client, okay, service discovery, okay, Fion client, okay, Fion client, and then messaging queues, all these things which we are going to learn here. Okay. And finally, after completion of the microservices, you will be the learning with some miscellaneous discussions about Spring security, how you can provide what the security to our Spring application or Spring Boot application. Okay. How can you do the authentication and authorization? Okay. How can you work with what message queues such as ActiveMQ, okay, or Kafka? Okay, ActiveMQ and Kafka. And we will be the working with what Redis cache, and we will be the working with what some tools. Okay, we will be the working with what some tools, guys, such as what Git, okay, Maven, Lombok, and all these are the tools which we are going to learn. And we will see how to deploy that to the Spring Boot application into the clouds as well. That is called deployment. And we will be the developing with one mini project called backend mini project, guys. Backend mini project. This is okay. So backend mini project. Okay. So we are talking about we are developing the such a kind of the mini project with the help of backend REST, developing the REST APIs. Okay. Yes. So that is what the thing, guys. If the time permits, then we'll talk about integration from Angular or React to backend services. Okay. Yes. This is the course outline, and this is the roadmap of our course, guys. Everybody. Okay, yeah, fine. So see guys, if you want the detailed course information, if you want like as in the detailed course information about this training program, which you can get, so which you will get what, which you can get from the Ashok IT portal itself. Okay, so just get into the Ashok IT portal and go to the courses offering section. Okay, go to the courses offering section, just select the Java full stack section here, and where you can find so the Spring Boot and microservices, that is the view details. Okay, and so you can have the option called download course content. Okay, download course content, guys. This is the link for it. I'm going to share you in the chat. Yeah. So I just shared you in the chat about the course content of this program. So each and every concept of this, the course content, which we are going to be the cover, guys. Okay, 100% of the course content will be the covering as part of this one. Okay, so first we'll start with the Spring Boot. The course content will start with what Spring Boot, guys, and under that Spring Framework and what is Spring Framework, differences between Spring and Spring Boot overview, pros and cons of Spring Boot, approaches to create a Spring application, introduction to Spring Boot starters, and what is an importance of starter class in Spring Boot. Okay, @ Spring Boot application annotation internals. Okay, and what is an importance of application.run method in the main class. All these things we will be the talking of the Spring Boot concepts. Okay, and the next one is Spring Data JPA. Okay, Spring Data JPA concepts, and then we'll talk about Spring Web MVC. We'll talk about Spring Web MVC. Okay, then we'll be the talking about Spring REST. Okay, Spring REST. Then we'll be the talking about, then will be followed by with what? Microservices. Okay, after this microservices, you will be the learning with what some kind of tools at the end of our the session. After the during the session itself, you will be the learning. Okay, how to do the so how can you work with what? How can you work with what the build management tools using Maven or Gradle? Okay, and Log4j is for what? Logging framework. As I am going to show you how to do the logging as well in the Spring application and the Spring Boot application, and also I will be the covering with what JUnit5. So how to write the test cases for REST APIs, how to write the test cases for service methods, how to write the test cases for DAO methods as well. Okay, and so Postman utilization, Swagger utilization, and Jenkins I can show you with what how to deploy, how to build and how to create a job in the Jenkins, and how to run that the job of our Spring Boot application, that I'm going to talk it. Okay, yes, that is the thing, guys. So this is the course content, guys. Anybody required the detail of the course information, which you can get from the Ashok IT portal. So the people who are in the meeting, I already shared that link I already shared this course content link in the meeting, the chat box. You can get that the course content from here. Okay, fine. Yeah, so this is what the roadmap of our the course, and the roadmap of our course, guys. Okay, fine. So coming to the next one. So coming to the details of the course. So coming to the details of the course. See, what are the prerequisites? The prerequisites of this the training program is core Java and advanced Java, guys. You guys need to be the strong on core Java and advanced Java. First of all, you should need to be complete with what? Advanced Java or core Java. You need to be the strong on the both areas. Okay, and if you are not having the knowledge, then definitely you people may feel some difficulty. Okay, yes. So if you have like as in the Spring framework, that would be an advantage for you. So understanding the concepts is easy for you guys. If you are already have the knowledge on Spring framework, that would be an advantage for you. If you do not have the knowledge of the Spring framework as well, not an issue, because we will be the starts with Spring framework only. Okay, we will start with the Spring framework, and we'll talk about important concepts of the Spring core module as well. What is auto wiring? What do you mean by component scan? Okay, so how can you create a Spring bean? Okay, auto wiring its strategies. Okay, all these things I'm going to talk. Types of dependency injections and all these things I'm going to talk. No problem at all. Okay, so the complete the training mode of this the batch is online, guys. Complete, it's an online training, it's a completely online training batch, this is. Okay, and the class timings will be, so it will start from 6:15 or 6 o'clock. We are planning to start either 6 or 6:15, guys. Okay, as of now the time is fixed for 6:15 up to 7:30. So the minimum duration of the session will be 1 hour 30 minutes. Okay, so 1 hour 30 minutes will be the session per day. Okay, you will be having the sessions from Monday to Saturday. Okay, you will be having the sessions from Monday to Saturday, guys. Daily 1.5 hour of the session, which will starts from morning 6 or 6:50. Morning will starts from 6:15 to 7:30 or 7:45. Okay, yeah. So 15 minutes plus or minus. Okay, yes. And the currently the batch code of this currently the batch code is 30_SBMS. Okay, 30 Spring Boot microservices, and the course duration will be, so you can consider it as in the 4 months. You can stick on to the 4 months, not for the 3 months or 3 months. Okay, I'm strictly saying that. So the duration for this the course will be what? The 4 months, guys. Okay, minimum 3.5 months to maximum of 4 months. You can stick on to what? 4 months. You can stick to what? 4 months, guys. The duration of this, the entire training program, which will takes for 4 months. Okay. Okay. Yes, because this is a very vast syllabus of the course module. This is a very vast syllabus and huge content of this program, guys, this training program. So it will be the taking with what? 4 months, guys. So you need to have a lot of patience. You need to have the lot of patience to understand the concepts. You need to do the regular practices. You need to do the regular practice. You need to attend the sessions regularly. Okay, you need to have the lot of patience, guys. Lot of patience. Okay. Yeah. So you need to have a lot of patience, guys. You need to have a lot of patience to attend this course. Okay. So please make sure everyone it should be in the 4 months of training program. Okay. Yes, guys. I request you admin people already shared mobile application details over the chat. I sincerely request you to download this mobile application into your the mobiles, guys. Okay, so the people who are the Android platforms, they can download that the mobile app from the Play Store, and the people who are who are already using with what who are already using with iOS, so they can download that the application from iOS. So they download the app from the iOS, guys. Okay, the code name is what they already given that code name, and just find with what? My Institute app. My Institute app. So just search with what? My Institute app, guys, and code also available for iOS users. Okay, try to get installed and you will get more updates from the Ashok IT, and also you will be getting the more updates on this current of your batches as well. Okay, yeah, fine. So daily duration will be what? 1 hour 15 minutes, minimum of 1 hour 30 minutes, guys. Okay, 1 hour 30 minutes. The session will be what? Monday to Saturday. Okay, the batch code will be 30_SBMS. Okay, so it's a Spring Boot microservices. SBMS means Spring Boot microservices. The course duration will be 4 months of this course, guys. And coming to the fee, okay, coming to the fee, 8K for online only, guys. Okay, 8K for attending the online. You will be not getting any kind of videos. Okay, just for attending the online session, you need to be the course fee for this the training program is 8K, and the 10K for what? Online, attending the session with an online along with the backup video access. Okay, along with the backup video, guys, along with what? The backup videos. Understand? So that is the course fee, guys. Okay, fine. So the videos access will be what? 1 year, guys. So you will be getting as an access for the video of 1 year from starting of your course. From starting of your course, you will be getting the video access for 1 year. Okay, and daily the class notes you can download, guys. I'm going to share you with the class notes. Okay, I'm going to share you on the class notes on the daily basis. So simply you can get into the Ashok IT portal. Once you are done with the registration, you will get an access of an Ashok IT portal, guys. Okay, through the Ashok IT portal, you need to be the join with the sessions and you need to download the notes as well. Okay, and so course content which I have given you here, guys, as a URL. I already shared you in the chat box as well. Okay, so these are the course details information. Okay, yeah. Coming to the next one. So course highlights. What are the highlights of this course? So we will be the having. Yes, for the 8K you will be the getting the notes. Okay, 8K you will be the getting the notes along with the online attending. Okay, so for the 10K you will get online plus video access as well, backup video access as well. Okay, what are the coming to the course highlights? So detailed discussion of each and every topic, guys. Each and every topic, the detailed discussion and guys, and covering like as an interview questions on the topic wise. We will be covering with the interview questions on the topic wise and live coding with the multiple IDEs, Eclipse IDE, STS IDE, and IntelliJ IDE. Okay, we will be using and developing the multiple IDEs for developing the Spring applications or Spring Boot applications or microservices based applications. Understood? Okay, fine. So, and you will be learning with the debugging as well. So how to debug the Spring application or how to debug the Spring Boot application, that you are going to learn here during the sessions itself, debugging. Okay, around 60 to 70 applications we are going to develop these during this training program, guys. Around like 60 between 60 to 70 applications. Okay, around 60 to 70 applications which we are going to develop. Understood? Understood, guys? Yeah. So see here. So you will be developing this kind of an applications here. Okay, for the entire the Spring Boot workspace. So this is what earlier batch related things. So you are going to learn almost 60 to 70 applications. Between 60 to 70 applications which we are going to develop, guys, which we are going to completely develop with the live coding. Understand? Okay, so we will be doing the live coding only. Okay, so don't worry about it. So that we'll be covering with around like 60 to 70 applications for each and every concept related application. Okay, and knowledge on, we will be getting the knowledge on various tools, guys, such as Maven, Git, Lombok. Okay, some additional tools such as Jenkins. Okay, you will be getting some Spring Boot with the AWS integration. Okay, all these things you will get to know. Okay, so these are the things about like as in the course highlights, guys. Course highlights. Detailed discussion of each and every topic. Interview questions will be covered during the topic discussion, and live coding will be there, guys. Okay, with multiple IDs of Eclipse or STS or IntelliJ. Okay, so debugging, we will be learning with the debugging during the sessions, and so you will be we will be developing with 60 to 70 applications, guys. 60 to 70 applications which we are going to develop, and the knowledge on the various tools of Maven, Git, and Lombok. Understood? Yeah. So these are the highlights of the course. So now you people may have some kind of other questions, some questions, guys, which is commonly asked, which we are getting commonly asked questions from the various people, guys. Okay, I'm going to clarify such a questions here as well. Sir, can I attend this session without knowledge of the Spring framework or not? Happily you can attend, sir. Happily you can attend. So because we will be starting with the basics of Spring. Okay, so from the first week of training, you will be covering with what? Spring basics. Okay, so that you will be strong on the Spring basics, and then you can easily understand with the Spring Boot concepts. Sir, I already have the knowledge on the Spring framework, means not a problem. You can brush up here. Okay, you can brush up here, guys. Nothing more on it. Okay, yes. And is this course will be an helpful for advantage for the freshers? Yes, definitely, of course. So this will be this course will be really helpful for the freshers, guys. Nowadays, you know that one. Okay, nowadays we do have a lot of competition in the market. Okay, so as the industry is also expecting like as in the Spring Boot and microservices from the fresher level as well, guys. Okay, so you guys are in the right path to opt this course as a fresher for a freshers. Okay, yes, sir. This course will give you how much of an experience of the knowledge, sir. Some of the people are having some gap of an experience of work experience, and they want gap of another work experience, guys, and they wanted to show some gap as in what some sort of an experience. They wanted to show that some gap as an experience. This course is very really worthful for that. Yes, sir, if you are trying within the opportunities of Java and showing some gap as an experience, then definitely this course will help you a lot. Okay, with help you a lot, which will you can put with what minimum of 3 years and the maximum of 4 years. Definitely you can put like as an experience minimum of 3 to 4. Okay, sir, we are not at all providing such a kind of things. Okay, so showing like gap as an experience. Okay, whatever the content we are going to deliver here, that content easily you can put minimum of 3 years and maximum of 4 years. Understood? That is the thing. That is the thing, guys. Okay, and so while practicing the class application, sir, if you have any kind of the blockers, how can you connect with you, sir? Yes, so you will be having some private group communication, guys, for the class related updates. So once you are done with the registrations, admin team will create a private group for us communication, guys, related to group updates, related to batch updates. Okay, and you can happily you need to share you need to complete the assignments. Okay, you need to complete like as an assignments, and you need to share the assignments through that group. And also if you have any kind of the blockers when you are practicing, you can share the screenshots in the private group itself. So this group will be created after completion of the registrations. Okay, yeah. So how many months the video will have videos will have an accessibility, sir? Sir, from 1 year access from starting of the course. From the starting of the course, you will be having the access of 1 year. Okay, this is the people are frequently asked the questions to clarify your doubts. Okay, that's all. So now the time for you guys. So it's related to Q&A, question and answer sessions. I will be giving you the unmute option for everyone in the meeting. So anybody having any question, you can go ahead with your questions.
Hi, Mahesh, I have a question.
Mm.
So suppose if I'm unable to attend the early morning class, then after how many hours of the completion of the class I'll get the video so that I can watch the video
Yes.
for that class?
Yes. So for example, if you unfortunately you did not attend the today's session, and so by the EOD as per IST, you will receive that mostly by afternoon time, 12 to 1, 12 to 2.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so because once the session got completed, it will take some time to host that video in the cloud. Okay, so
right.
that admin people will collect that the video and share that, and will add that the video respectively in the dashboards. Okay, yeah.
Okay, and another thing is that can you please cover writing integration tests using Spring Boot?
Yeah, definitely. We will be talking about that one. We will be the part of our course.
Okay, because as far as the JUnits are concerned, I know how to write unit tests using the JUnit, but I'm not very much into how to write the complete integration test using Spring Boot.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Are you covering the Spring batch as part of this?
Yes, we will be planning for that.
And you mentioned it's 1 year video access. After 1 year, we cannot access. Is there
you cannot access the videos after the 1 year. Okay, so within the 1 year, you can access the videos at any point of time.
But it's not possible with extra payment also? Just want to check.
You can check with the admin team on this. As I already told you, Naresh, fee structure will be 8K for online attending with notes access, and 10K for online plus videos backup. 1 year access you will get. The duration will be 4 months. Sorry, 4 months. Sir, I am clearly mentioning you, the course duration will be 4 months. Minimum 3.5, maximum of 4 months.
Hi Mahesh, this is Swati. Could you please elaborate on the project which we are going to do as part of this training?
Yeah, so REST API development. So see, this course is basically for the backend development. So what I'm going to do here is we will be considering some use cases. Okay, and we will be considering some use cases, and we will be implementing the REST APIs for that use cases. Okay, and where we are going to integrate all the concepts in that project.
Okay, can I ask a question? Like, I have joined a company with 2 years of experience.
Hmm.
In that I didn't have any real-time experience. So this course and show this as a real-time experience.
Yeah, definitely. That this course will really help you a lot to get the real-time the knowledge. And we will be the covering with the Spring Boot as a 3.x.
Okay, can I portray the project as a real-time project that I have did?
No. You cannot mention like that. The project which you are developing for our the knowledge sake. Okay, so you cannot portray this project as an the real-time project. Okay, yeah. So we are going to work with Spring Boot 3.x only. Okay, yeah, stable versions only, and we will be covering with the latest features only. Okay.
Sir, I don't know Hibernate now. Hibernate.
Okay, not required.
Okay.
So if you have some basic knowledge on the Hibernate, that should be the fine for us, and you don't need to worry. So I will be the taking you through that how to a Spring Data JPA, how to create an entity class, what are the annotations are helpful. Okay, so all these things I will take you through that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mahesh, this is Venkatesh.
Yeah, please. Go.
Actually, have been started a full stack development right in the month of March end, I think. Okay. Is that been completed or still going on? I mean, is that completed? It's a module 2 which you are covering now.
So you have joined with my batch?
No, I was joined initially, but I was not able to complete the course. So I just want to double check whether it is completed or not.
March you have started, right? 26
Yes,
you
yes.
are. Not
Yes.
No. We are in core Java.
Okay, still in core Java going on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So like how many days we are gonna have the free session in order
First
to like
3 sessions,
see
I believe.
actually?
I believe that first 3 sessions.
Okay. And also like in like the mail which we will get right for after registering, in that we are like getting like 45 days only, but is it 45 days or like 3 to 4 months it may take?
Sir, not sure. So content of that email. Okay, so my not sure on about the content of the email. This is what my course plan.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah.
I have a question. So will there be any opportunity of asking frequent question maybe every day? So I know sometimes it's hard to ask questions. So
Yeah.
at the end of each session, so we'll be able to ask questions, right?
Yes. Definitely at the end of every session on the day. So you will be having some Q&A question and answer session. And if you are or else if you have any kind of a question or the blocker, you can post the message in the chat box. I will have a look and highlight that point in the session itself. No problem at all. Okay. And you do have a private and we have one. I mean to say, after completion of the registrations of this batch, you will be having a group access from the admin team, so that you can ask the question in such a group. Okay, so that I will be the part of that group.
Okay, thank you.
So like for deployments, like for cloud, which type of cloud are we going to cover in this course?
So basically, with respect to the AWS, I will show you how to integrate the Spring Boot with AWS. Okay, and by utilizing some S3 services. Okay, and I will try to show you with how to deploy the the Spring Boot application in the AWS as well. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, are we going to discuss like about the Spring Cloud also in this course?
Yeah, Spring Cloud, that will be the microservices only.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for learning the JRTP, that this course is enough.
Yeah. What is mean by JRTP? I don't know.
Somebody asked the JRTP, Java Real Time Project. Java
Thank you,
real-time project to learn this, to learn that course. This course is enough for that. Okay. Yeah. Anybody having any questions? So these are the things of the course.
Yeah,
What
Mahesh.
version of Spring Boot will you be covering?
Sorry.
What version of Spring Boot?
Spring Boot to minimum 2.7 and the will be the covering minimum 2.7 version will start, and we'll talk about Spring Boot 3.x. Mostly we are working with Spring Boot 3.x.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Is this
Also, one question.
certification provided after the completion of course?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Is this certification is provided for us
Yes,
after
yes,
the
I believe that you. Yeah. So I think so. The certificate will be the provided for you after completion of this course.
okay.
I have a question. I went through the description of this course. I didn't see like anything about event-driven architecture. Would you be covering that?
That is what we are going to talk. Messaging queues.
And one more thing, Mahesh, Kafka is one of the service, right?
Yeah, that will be the part of the messaging queues.
Okay, okay. S3 buckets,
Spring Boot with AWS. That is.
okay.
You said you're going to cover Kafka as well.
Yeah, that obviously.
There will be just Kafka or RabbitMQ as well.
ActiveMQ, and will be the covering. First, we'll start with ActiveMQ and then we'll cover with Kafka.
Okay.
And you will be the learning some sort of design patterns as well in the microservices, circuit breaker design pattern, Saga design pattern, and something CQRS design pattern. Okay, all these things. Command query, some command query will be there. Register some segregations. Okay, that patterns also you are going to learn.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So you guys stick with that to the point. So the 4 months will be the duration. Okay. Whoever like the 4 months case, 4 months the course will be. Okay. Not for the 45 days or 60 days. Okay. I'm strictly saying that you can stick on to this 4 months.
But the time will not be changed, right?
No, sir. No.
We can
Time
fix
is
this
fixed.
time. Okay.
Time is fixed.
Okay.
No changes in the timing, sir. So it may be we can start in the going forward, we can start at 6 o'clock. Okay. Going forward, we'll start with 6 o'clock and ends with 7:30. Okay. Rise for the next 1 week of time. So we will be the starting with the 6:15.
Okay.
Okay. After 1 week, we will be the changing to 6 o'clock.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think 6 o'clock would be a great time.
Sorry.
I think 6 o'clock is very good for me. I like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, no problem. So for the first week, see, that is what I'm clearly saying, that for the 1 week of the span, we will be the go with the 6:15. After that, so the session will start at 6 o'clock.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah. Sure on that.
I also see I checked there was some additional 18% charges. I don't know what is that for. Like if I get
That you
backup
can you please check that at the point with an admin team? So I'm not sure on that.
Yeah, I checked on the website. It was, I don't know, for some reason.
Okay. You can check with the admin team, so that definitely you will get a call. You will get a call from the admin team, so that you can check with them. They will clarify you.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I request you to download the Ashok IT mobile application to your mobile's case from Play Store and iOS. Okay, whoever using with an iOS, so just get that, find the app with My Institute and just apply the code, whatever they given in the code. Okay. Yes. So Naresh, the contact details, admin team automatically will get in touch with you, so that you can check with them. Okay, sir. Tomorrow onwards, we are going to start with the Spring basics. Okay. So no, I mean to say, the tomorrow onwards, I'm not going to talk this much of things, course details. Okay. So tomorrow onwards, I will be getting into the original topic that is called Spring Basics. Okay. So that is all about for the today. Anybody having any more questions? Somebody asked me, you didn't introduce myself. Sir, I already introduced myself. Okay. So this is my profile.
Okay.
Okay, that's all. Okay, that's all for the today. Okay, again we'll meet you on the tomorrow. Again we'll meet you on the tomorrow. Tomorrow onwards we'll start with the basics of Spring framework. Okay, yeah. Hope so. Everybody having no question. Seems to be.
This app that you are asking us to download, what is that app for? Sorry, I did not get
The
that.
mobile application of an Ashok IT.
Yeah, why do I need to download that?
So to get like as an the updates from the Ashok IT, and as well as whenever you want to join the session, okay, so you can join with through the app. You can also have an the flexibility. That's all.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then that's all for today. We'll meet you on the tomorrow. Have a nice day. Bye bye.